Hi everyone, I hope everybody's having a lovely day. It's beautiful outside, even though it's not supposed to be like this time of year, but it's lovely outside. Anyway, getting back to our map. Excuse me. I think what we'll do now is we will continue with the build of our first custom map. As you can remember, we've got our pathing lines, our little towns that we started to build, and our markers. Okay, so let's work through this nice and slowly. If you go to atmosphere, you can change the day and the weather on the map. Now for drawing the map, I like to have it on midday and sunny. You can have stormy, raining, clear, or sunny. So midday and sunny gives us a nice atmosphere. We can always change that before we save. And it also lets us see a little bit more of the map. Okay, so going back to our resources, as you can remember, we put our little trees on just down here, just there. Now there are other resources. We will need stone and iron and pitch. So each of the towns will also need those resources. So we're going to go to our first town, which is the blue, and let's give them some wood. I think this one is quite nice. Holding the left control and the left mouse button, and we'll just paint them on. And there you go. Now each town will need wood for their buildings. Now if you remember, we put the pathing line on down the middle. I'll show you there. So what we'll do is we'll go back to resources, we'll go to wood, we'll go to our trees, large brush, and we'll just paint over the line. Just like this. And that's perfect. And either side have got wood that they can gather. Give me a little bit more. Each have got wood that they can gather, so they won't run out of resources. What I will do is put them a little forest on around the back. There we go. And we'll do the same for the greens. So across the divided line, you can see the line basically there. There's the line. So we'll just do that to there. And maybe we'll spread that line out a little bit. Brilliant. Okay. Oop, too far. Okay. So, we've only got those resources, so I'm going to put a little bit more on just for us. There you go. Brilliant. Okay, so each town now has got wood resources. Now we've got to do the same for the iron. So our little town can have some iron just tucked in behind the trees. Perfect. Now each town will need their own resources for each. So we'll give them some iron there. We'll make these ones walk a little bit further. Put some iron over there. Now you can be particular. You can put it on in small brushes and make it look nice. As a for instance, I'll just do one. Okay, so we say iron. If you go to your, let's think about this. Yeah, let's go to landscaping. We're going to go to raise and lower on a hard circle, on a small brush, yep, and intensity turned down. And we are going to draw some sort of a quarry type thing. I'm not worried too particular because I will be smoothing it in a minute. And we'll have that like that. Maybe a little path in there through the rocks. And we'll block that area off completely so they can't. There you go. Now what we'll do is we'll go to a smooth brush, go to a mottled brush, and we'll smooth it over. and it'll make it a little bit more lumpy. Perfect. And now we just want a perfectly smooth, just to smooth it off. Bigger. There we go. Now you can see our hilly bit of area. I didn't want too much. Let's go to raise and lower and choose noise 3. Just give it a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. Now remembering that our marker is here. The troops will spawn at that point, so really we don't want them to be spawning up and down hills and areas. So what we'll just quickly do, we'll just make this, we'll just smooth that off. That's it, perfect. Now you can sort of get a lay of the land, and then what we'll do is we'll go back to our resources, we'll go to our iron on a small brush, and we will paint in some area. Need enough area for them to be able to plant things on, which is perfect. Okay. Now we'll go to our vegetation, as I said yesterday. Sparse, let's think. Let's have dense grass and shrubs, and we're just going to give this a quick paint. It is appearing on the map, don't worry if you don't see it because you're obviously too far away, but as you zoom in you can see our grassy area. Oops, a bit too far. So let's complete that little area there. Okay, that's looking a lot better. I will use a sparse grass and shrub just to finish off the areas at the edge. Brilliant. It's looking a lot better. Okay, so, and just to smooth off the edges. There we go. Okay. Now, something we haven't touched on before is a texture tool. Now in the texture tool you've got grass, rough grass, sand, dark mud, stone, cliff, dry mud and courtyard. So depending on the colour of the resources I put on, I normally try to use a colour that's closest to that to blur the square edges, if you can see. So what we'll do is we'll go on to, I think it's dark mud, and we'll go down to a small feathered brush. We'll just give it a little touch here and there. And there we go. Just a little bit too much grass, so I think. Dense grass. Now to take the grass off again, you will need to use the same brush that you use to plant it on. If I try to take that off with bulrush, say, nothing will happen. So you need to take it off with the brush that you've put it on with. And if you're working on one area at a time, you should know roughly what you was working on last time. So let's go back to our textures, dark mud, and we'll just give that a little bit more texture. Yeah. Okay. Now what is also nice is if you turn it right the way down to a small brush, turn the brush intensity down as well, you can make little tracks. It gives it a little bit more realism just by creating little paths that come off that people would probably use to walk to get there. So we'll do that, and we'll remove a little bit more of the vegetation just along that little path there. Perfect. Okay, it's starting to look like a little area now. What also I've found is in each resource, in the resources, under each of their titles, wood, iron, stone and pitch, you have subdirectories of decorations and viewing. I don't often use viewing. Quick swig of coffee. So go to decorations, and you normally get the decorations that come with it. i.e. stones or dark stones, or bulrushes I think is the one in pitch. Oh no, it's like dead trees, which look really good. So I normally use those on the areas they're not supposed to be on, just to give it a bit more authenticity. Oh, I do love my coffee. Okay, so we'll plant a couple of trees just to make it look somewhat believable. Let's put that one there, really stringy one. And there we have those. You can also go into the stones and use the stone decorations just to make it look a bit more used, a bit more real, a bit of realism in it. If we go back to iron now and use the decorations from iron, you'll find they're dark stones which look really lovely, planted around the edge on the unlevel ground. Let's just plant a few more here and there. There are other options. I won't go into it too much in this video because it's quite detailed. What you can do is, let's see if I can remember how to do this now. Oh, okay, yeah. Right, so if you, one second, if I can remember how to do this now. It's been a while since I've made a map. Oh, sorry, unit, that's what we want. Okay, so if you click on unit, this is the best way I found of doing it. Click on unit and then click on the item. You have another menu here, rotate, scale. So if you click on scale, you see the 3 arrows determining the 3 axes, X, Y and Z. You can, by holding your mouse on the arrow and moving it from left to right, you can increase the size of the stone. So what you could do, make a really big stone, then go to move, and you can plant the stone wherever you feel it looks best. And then what we'll do is we'll go back to resources, back to iron, back to decoration, and plant a few little stones around it. I like to put a few here and there just to give it that little look. Okay, that's quite good. Now they will need an area where they can mine, so what I will do is, using a landscape tool, absolutes, hard circle, turn it down a little bit, and we want full intensity, because if you hold the the left control and the right mouse button, if you click the right button, you can set the height to whatever height it's held over. So if I was to click it there on that mound, as you can see, if I clicked it on the top of the mound and then go over here, it will raise the surface to the same height as where you designated the height. So let's go back to the ground, and we're just going to flatten just this little area a little bit so they've got room to build their quarry mining. Yep. So they can mine the materials. If it's bumpy, they won't like to, they can't really build on it, so I like to make sure it's flat. Now, going back to our textures, you can choose all the other types of colours just to give it a little bit more colour. So, a bit more intensity, just to give it a bit more authenticity. You can take your time. I have made some beautiful maps in my time. I haven't uploaded them anywhere because I don't know really. Don't suppose I've ever felt the need, but there we have it. Just to increase the and you can make an area look really nice. Maybe we want just here. Let's go to the vegetation. dense grass is what we use to paint this. So we go there with the right mouse button, holding control, and remove all of that piece there. Then I'm going to go to landscaping, absolutes, hard circle, choosing that level by holding left control and clicking the right mouse button once, and then painting with the left button. I just want to level that off because I feel that there's need for a river. So we'll get river, we'll get, we don't want that size, so make the river smaller, and you can paint on the river like so, as we did on the other side. Going back to your landscaping tools, absolutes, oh no, sorry, this is smooth. Smooth, medium, and we will just run that across the edge just to round it off. Okay, now you can go back into textures and choose sand. We don't want too strong. And some sand just around the edge. Now there is one called tinting. Now by using this, you're actually painting the colour you choose over the colour of the material you're painting. So that if we was to say the grass and we wanted it to look greener, if you choose the green, I'll do it with a hard brush for a moment so you can see the difference. And you can see there that that piece of land is greener. Now, using these different tints, you can make an area look even better. Now what I will do is use a white on the stony areas. As you can see there, it's where it's been painted. Yep, a little bit of white on the stony areas. Designate dry sand sort of material. Okay, very nice. Now we can go back to vegetation, we can go to shrubs, and we can put some shrubs on. Now I won't do any more. You can see where I'm going with this, I think. So we'll just plant some shrubs and maybe some resources, maybe a couple of trees, single trees, just a few trees here and there, just to give it that. And there you have it. Nice little area where they can mine. Okay, let's go back to our resources. So if we go to resources, iron, where did we get to? Where did we get to? They've got iron, they've got iron, they've got iron, and they've got iron. Okay, so stone. Let's put some stone on for everybody. Let's choose tiling, medium size, and I think we'll have some stone on that area. Okay, and for us, we'll have some stone over there. As I say, you can be very decorative. You can take your time and plant and place your resources and things wherever you want them. Now they don't need a huge area. That's way too much. They don't need a huge area. That's just this stuff. Okay. So now we'll go to pitch, and we'll finish the pitch. I think what we'll do is tiling, pitch, holding the left control, and paint with the left mouse button. Landscaping, absolute smooth, smooth. I like to smooth it off a little bit, makes it look more natural. And there you have your pitch. Resources, pitch. Okay, so we need to give pitch to everybody. So let's just get a new line of pitch. And these guys over here, let's give them a nice little line there. Okay, so we will have some pitch next to our stone. Absolutes. Oops, wrong one. Oh, it's moving. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it just makes it look more natural. As you can see, it's very square looking. But if you run this around it, you can make it look more natural. Okay. And where's the pitch up this side? Okay, that's that. So that's all of our resources now placed. Everybody has got iron, stone and pitch. Now, we don't want people just wandering over the hills. So as we did yesterday with our paving, we will go back to paving, which is a smallish brush, and we will say that you can't walk on the hilly areas. So by doing this, as you can see, there's two ways they can walk in and out now. Oh. Let's take the top off. We don't want them walking in the river. So if you don't want them walking wherever, like in that river, you can just run the paving along it and they won't walk in there. Okay. So, let's go through the list. Camera. This is for when the scenario starts. You can place the actual camera, set the startup mode, and you can set the camera to start wherever you are on the map. It normally goes to basically your camp anyway, that's why I never really use it. Sounds. Now these are very useful because you get forest sounds, marsh sounds, owls, the cove for your little rivers, you've got streams, brooks. So let's say our little river that's there by the side of our town, we will choose forest and we will place the forest on. Now the green area around it is the area that the sound will be heard from. So if we place it on the edge of our forest, we should be able to hear it in this area. So holding the left control and we put it down, as you can see there, birds and the insects, forest 1. That's the sounds that will be heard in this area. And as we've got our stream through there, we'll go down to stream and we'll place our stream there. And you have to click it again to put 2 or more. So each time you want to put one down, you have to click it again. So let's say there. So that's your stream sound and your forest sounds, which will sound very nice. Where's the marsh? There's the marsh perspective. That's for our pitch. And you can hear now the river and the forest. And that's the marsh. So you can set the sounds for your area. Fireworks I don't really use. Atmosphere we've already gone over, which is our stormy, or that was a bit of a, yeah, that made me jump. Okay, so we worked through factions. Markers we understand now. Yeah, you can have more than one marker. I won't go into it in too much detail because that's very entailed. And the pathing we've discussed. So, next we have vegetation, water, texture and resources, which we've been over. As we see our lovely little area here. I think we need a sound there. I think we need let's have a cove. And I think we'll have some owls. Okay, so that's the sounds. Let's make this a little bit more, how can I say, a little bit more scenic. It's very flat at the moment. So let's go and use our landscaping tool. I'm going to use raise the level. I'm going to turn it down so it's not too intense. Quite big, and I'm going to have a scattered model effect. And what we're going to do, let me just check where the paving areas are. Okay, so let's have this, it forces them down to us a little bit, and we can have the same on this side, and that will force them towards us a little. Let's that we don't want them walking down. Okay, that's our pitch, so we want to leave them accessible. But what I will do is I won't let us come in from that side. So that's basically forcing their troops to come into us. You don't need to do this, but I just wanted to set their areas before I start landscaping. Okay, so we're going back to our mottled effect, raise and lower, quite a big brush, not very intense. So let's just have some. Give them some hills. I think what I'm going to do is raise this area a little, just a little. Resources, wood. Let me remove some of this wood this side. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So, and then we'll take that in. And just play with the design until you come across something you like. I think we're going to have resources, and we're going to have some of this here. Let's raise that a little. Raise that a little. Okay. And we'll maybe raise this side here. Give them a bit of a hill. If you hold the button and just hold it in one area, it will just build and build and build until it gets to its limit. Let's take it down a bit. So left button to put it on, right button to take it off. Let's just smooth this over now because we're doing it too spiky. Okay, and we don't have that there. And there. Okay. And down there. Okay, now if we refer back to our paving, we can see now that there we have it. So we basically blocked this area from them using it, which is fine. They've got plenty of room to get their troops through to us. And then what we'll do is we'll do the same up here. We'll just scatter this like that, connect it to there. You don't have to fill it all in completely, as long as they can't get through to the other side. That's fine. We'll go back to resources, back to trees, and I just want to repaint some of this in. It takes a second. And there you go. And the same again this side. We'll cover the hill in trees. And then go back to paving. It does take a second when you put it on a large amount of trees. We'll go back to paving. And then we'll just make sure that there is a line there somewhere to stop them going over the hill. And there you go. You can see roughly the line. And there you go. So they can't get over the hill from that side, and they can't get over the hill from that side. There we have it. Okay. As I said before, you can use the vegetation, going back to grass and dense shrubs, and just, you know, just make it look a little bit more interesting. little bit bigger. There we go. You can play with the design for hours, and it's very enjoyable, it's very relaxing. Okay, so we have our map nearly complete now. Let's just put some trees on here. Oop. Resources, trees. Let's change the trees. Let's put some different trees on here. There you go. And you just wait for those to build in. And there we have it. If you wanted to build anything else, you can take your time and just edit it as you want. I think what I'm going to do is, I do like rivers, so I'm going to draw a river flowing all the way to there, to a little lake. Okay, that's our river drawn on. Wait a second. There we have it. Now we go back to our landscaping and smooth. And just, oh dear. Oh, that's torn it. I guess I'll have to take that off again. Okay, smooth. Let's try that again. Okay, we've got an edge that doesn't look good. So let's go back to water and we'll just draw that on a little more. Okay. Yes, perfect. Okay. Now let's try that again. And we'll just smooth that off. As you can see, it looks a lot better when it's smoothed. We've got too many trees there, I think. This size. Okay, so. And there we go. Just go around and tidy up the edge a little. Just a little too much. And then you can vegetation, bulrushes, because that's normally what you find around the edge of a lake or around the edge of a river. So I'll put them on there. You can go down and look now. Ah, here we go. So we don't want too many in the river. Just along the edge. Okay. Take some out of the middle. Just take a few out. We have loads of rivers where I live, so I've got some sort of comparison that I can compare with. I'm going to go to resources, stone, decorations, and I'm just going to put some stones along the edge of the river. As I say, you can spend hours just decorating the map and give it that special look. Okay, we won't go no more than that. Let's just quickly resources, vegetation, shrubs. And spend the time to just make it look special. And along and around the edge, and then go to sparse for around the edge of that. Okay, dokie. Okay, and that is basically our map. Now remembering, wherever you put rivers or hills, You must put the paving on there, or else everybody will just wander across your map and take no notice of rivers, mountains, or anything. So what we'll do is we'll take that off of there. Leave them a bigger opening to get to us. And we'll close that area off. Just like that. And there we go. Well, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoy making your own maps. Have fun with the decorations. If you have any comments or any questions, please leave me a line. I'll be happy to help you if I can. Other than that, have a brilliant day. Enjoy your map building. And for now, ta-da!